Can you do a thing where you just come in and you can't just sing it and then we'll go, oh no, we didn't see you there.
Oh no, we didn't see that little tiny tripod.
Oop. Alright, good stuff.
And yes, Adam. Yeah? No.
Oh, ready to go now?
Yeah.
You ready?
No, it's not.
RJ Barreau and Adam Hastings, pleased to meet you.
Hello.
Bootleg Beatles, how are you feeling? About to play the
Feels nice.
Feels nice. I think he's right.
Hampton Apollo? What do you
Well,
reckon?
it's brilliant. Great venue. I've seen Paul McCartney here over the years in 1975 when I was a titch. So it means a lot. And the Beatles, real Beatles, played here in '64. I think they did their Christmas season. So it's a big stage.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long journey for yourself. I don't know. 1980 then.
1980. Yeah. I can't really believe it was that long ago. I don't even understand it really myself. Yeah, 1980.
Oh, you're looking good on it, I have to say.
Well, thank you. Well, I was only 7 when we started the group.
It looks like it.
You played here before?
Yeah, we've done this 3 times. We did it, I think, something like '96 and a couple of years ago, and now, now today.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the first time I saw it was that somewhere in Ealing. And it was the early 90s, about 92 maybe.
Yeah.
And I mean, anyway, across the expanse of time so far, what have been the highlights for you?
Well, Adam, I'm going to answer this because I've been in the group slightly longer than you, so I'm going to say it first. Well, I think playing on the roof of Apple was amazing because we're the only band who did that, and it was exactly the same as when the Beatles did it. So. All the people stopped in the street, taxi drivers, police came and stopped us. That was perfect. I think the first time we did the London Palladium ever, because that was just, we promoted that ourselves and we thought maybe we could do okay. And then I think playing at Glastonbury and playing with Oasis. I mean, we've been really lucky. We've had obviously we met George Harrison, Paul McCartney as well. It goes on and on and on, But I think that bunch is a good look, I would say.
Yeah, what did George Harrison tell you about?
He said it's all a bit silly, isn't it? This dressing up as us. And I said, well, you've got to pay your bills, George. You maybe don't. He said the first thing he said was, "Who's the bootleg?" Have you heard this before? He said, "No, good, I'll tell you." So he said, "Who's the bootleg Brian Epstein? Because he's got all the money." And he was quite right about that, actually. And he was just really funny, and he was chatty all night, and he was with his wife, and also with actually Patty Boyd. That they were still great mates, so that was really amazing. Yeah.
He had any pointers?
Well, he did actually. He did not actually. What he did do was the then bass player made a mistake on "Free." We were doing "Free as a Bird," which the Beatles had released as a single, and he played a wrong chord, and he just went through the whole chord sequence. A major, F sharp minor, and he was just like so excited by John Lennon's great chord sequence. So it was like your own Beatles complete, but talking to you.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
And Adam, I mean, now stepping in, after all this time, that sort of heavy shoes to fill originally, and now again. So, what did Neil Harrison say to you, tips-wise?
He's just kind of been guiding me through it a bit, sort of thing. I was doing it before. I was doing the Beatles thing before this band. So everybody's been dead nice. They've kind of been just, well, keep doing what you were doing that got you the job, but also is 30 years of experience as well. Little tip here and there that just kind of help you do it.
What's the best tip you got then?
Don't do certain things in the bus toilet.
A very handy tip.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, cool. And I don't know. So you said that one of the first posters I know, reading obviously on Wikipedia and stuff, that you had were the Bootleg Beatles.
Yeah, we just did the gig in Newcastle City Hall where I saw them about 10 years ago.
That's your first gig?
Yeah, it was. My dad was always doing gigs and things, so I went to see him doing them, but that was the first one I ever went to that wasn't with my family, and it was just with a mate who I happened to get a ticket on the day, and then we were there 2 days ago, was it? And I sat in the seat that I might have been in, looking at the stage, and just felt a bit weird, thinking I was here 10 years ago watching the Bootleg Beatles, and now I'm in it.
Yeah, how's the tour been so far then?
It's been great, I love it. It's just class, man. Especially this one, because you get fry-ups in the morning and your meal when you come off stage.
He's taken to bus life, basically. Touring life's gone down well.
Great. What what are any venues that you're looking forward to playing? Obviously next year in the future.
Well, I'm really looking forward to
Countries,
tonight, actually. The Apollo, because I've always liked all the the Live at the Apollo things that happen from here. So that's going to be brilliant. And I'll look around the stage area. I got a lot out of that, and I don't know, just everywhere's kind of got its own different exciting bits. Like the England tour has been great, and I've never been to Denmark, and we'll get to go there next year. And where else are we going? Australia. Yeah, that'll be sunny and things. So that'll be great.
Yeah. What about yourself, Andre? I mean, you've travelled all over the world then.
Yeah, but we've been we're really lucky. We've done, I think, everywhere apart from Australia, which we're going to do next April.
Why has that eluded you then so far?
I've got no idea. I think that I don't know. I think just that their music industry is very different. I think they had their own Beatle bands out there, and I think the promoters are going to take a gamble on taking us out. So we're very excited to see if we can make that our own, put our stamp onto Australia, and maybe go back there once every year, once every 2 years if we're lucky.
Definitely. Where you had the most sort of hysteria, as it were?
Well, we did play Russia in 1982. It was when it was the Soviet Union, and that was really crazy. Because the first 50 rows were all Politburo, they were like Brezhnev types, all sitting there with eyebrows and uniforms. But behind that, in these 10,000 crowds, was just kids going mental because they had that. Well, I think we were the first actual rock band. I know, other bands say they do it, but I think Cliff Richard and Elton John went as kind of like a small acts, did one gig, but we actually did a tour with noisy amplifiers. They just went crazy. Plus, they knew all the songs. They weren't supposed to, but they did.
And what you still listen to? I don't know, Paul McCartney's music.
I mean, I do listen to some Macca stuff, but really, Adam and I are probably pretty similar. So we just really love the Beatles, and we love unpicking the guitar bits and the harmonies, and just trying to improve what we do. And it's amazing. The Beatles music is so deep and rich and complicated in its arranging for people who are so young and making music so quickly. It's amazing how you can play for years a wrong inversion or slightly wrong harmony, nothing that you'd go, oh my god, that's not She Loves You, but you might go, one little bit of note. So we're always trying to get these nuances more and more correct, We've done, since Adam's joined the group, we've done a lot of work on the guitars to lock them in, a la George and John, so.
Have you ever had, talking about composing music and arranging it all, have you ever had any copyright issues? Because one thing that a lot of people think about with the Beatles was the whole battle with getting it on iTunes, getting all their music out. From day one, have you ever encountered any problems?
Not really, because I guess the thing is, as far as the Beatles are concerned, we're a living advert, and we pay PRS every time we play. A tribute band comes under the band of PRS, so we have to pay a percentage every year. So that's that kind of bit, and you don't need, when songs get an original publishing deal, they sign, whoever you are, with your Queen or me or whoever, or Adam, whatever, you sign that to PRS so that, say for example, you two formed a duo in the pub, you wouldn't have to go, oh, we'd like to do White Shade of Pale, where's, Procol Harum live, can we phone them up and get permission? So in that respect, you don't need permission, and I guess that, we've met Paul and George Martin and George, and I suppose if we're anything, we're a living advert. Not that they need us to, their music's great and their reputation's brilliant without us, but I guess it keeps it all alive.
Well, I was going to say, you must keep that going, because every generation knows the Beatles, and maybe if it wasn't because of you, the younger generation certainly wouldn't have.
Some do, yeah. Some people, it's when we started 30 years ago,
I was alive.
Then it was kind of a nostalgia thing. It was people who'd seen them as kids or were teenagers and actually really screamed at them. And then since then it's become as much discovery for teenagers and stuff. That was why I mentioned about playing Glastonbury. The first time we did it in '94 was such a big deal, because that was crossing the divide from being a university cabaret stroke, whatever you want it, act, to there's real acts playing on that were having hit records, and so it kind of blurred it a little bit, so it was a big deal for us. It was some kind of credibility, I suppose.
Kids get taught the Beatles in some of the history lessons now, which is just amazing, isn't it? So they're just set there, so you get Henry VIII, World Wars, Beatles, that's it, it's class, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
Yeah. And it's definitely passed down through the generations, their parents before them, were just sort of ongoing. I think music is like that anyway, isn't it? You teach the younger generations.
I find it weird maybe that the Stones, who when I was 15, 16, this is in the kind of early 70s, were just such a revered, talked about act. Everything they did was amazing, and somehow that's changed a little bit. And they're still an amazing act, but they're not the gods that they were. But the Beatles' reputation just keeps growing, and I don't think it's just purely because the Stones are still going. I mean, you could argue that, but I think it's just something. There's something about the Beatles.
It's like a fairy tale, isn't it?
Yeah, you couldn't write the Beatles. So you do go, it's ridiculous that we do that and that. It's just such an amazing, and it's great for us to do the show. The progression is so great, you know, from the early jingly stuff to bringing on an orchestra and all this.
What's your favourite era then?
Well, it changes all the time. For me, I'm really enjoying the early stuff at the moment. We're doing a song called "You Really Got a Hold of Me," which I've always loved, and we're doing that at the minute. So I love that one.
What about yourself?
Probably the same. I like the Hard Days 90, still a little bit kind of Beatlemania, silly, but starting to get a little bit more about the songwriting and the creativity type side of it.
Yeah. What about any other tribute acts? Who do you particularly like?
I suppose that I like the Counterfeit Stones. I think they're very good. They take us. They do the music really well, but they have a sort of an ironic take on it, which I think is great. I mean, other bands, you know, people change personnel a lot. So you know, we might see an ABBA act, and then there's 4 different people in it. So I kind of lose track of.
Yeah.
To say that that's a really great band, I think something like Beyond Again in its heyday were a brilliant band, but I think members have come and gone, and you know, they always get quality people. So it's very, very difficult, really. We seem to sort of, well, I know we've just changed John Lennon's, but we tend to try and keep the same lineup for a long period of time.
And you know, any sign of you retiring, as it were,
well,
or another 30 years?
Well, after that was the reverse of the earlier compliment, wasn't it? He takes with one hand, he gives with the other. Well, in terms of love for it and energy, no. You know, in terms of credibility, I don't know. It's not if you know, my wife would tell me she go, you finished, get out. So, you know.
No, long may it continue.
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, in terms of doing it, I love it. I really, really love it.
And I'm not thinking about retiring.
You'll be keeping it on for another 30 years.
Once I get the start.
If I had to sort of note you down and say, you know, individually, your top 3 Beatles songs, what would you say?
Go on, Adam, you hit first.
Hard Days Night. You go now, say one.
Okay, I'll say She's So Heavy.
Yeah, good one.
Thank you.
Me and Mr. Mustard, I like that.
Obscure one, nice. I'll go for This Boy.
And You Really Got a Hold on Me.
I would have had that, so I'll go for Ticket to Ride.
Fantastic. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Oh, it's a
I'm
pleasure.
really looking forward to tonight. Pleasure meeting you.
Good,
And,
good to meet you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Long may.
Yeah, very Merry Christmas.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot. A Christmas show's more exciting than normal
Yeah, do you
shows?
do anything?
yeah. I suppose it is a great. I think it's a good time to get people out, and you know, we've toured since 1990 as this Christmas thing. Although more and more gigs are going into March, so it's a, sort of a weird Christmas. But all the big venues we do this side of the Yule.
Stuff. Happy Christmas.
And you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.